Hey, what's up guys? Andy here, and today we're reviewing over Shield Hero episode 19, The Four Cardinal Heroes. Oh boy. This, I know I've said it a lot, this is probably honestly my favorite episode, not only because Naofumi ripped into them, but they're all four finally fighting together. We'll talk about all that though and more in the episode review, but I'm just so hyped to talk about this, and I'm so sorry this is late, guys. I had to work today. I woke up late, couldn't do the review this morning. So I got home from work, and I'm like, let's get this shit done. And I forgot the build-up they left off last week, where the Pope was just about to kill him, and I was like, I forgot that, you know, this episode was supposed to be lit. And it was pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. There is one thing I do want to talk about, though. I'm not too sure on Naofumi's reasonings for what he does in this episode, because I get it, it's understandable, but like, was it? You know, I don't know. We'll talk about my opinion on that and more in the video. But real quick though, before we get started, I do want to go ahead and say, if y'all want to follow me on Instagram, it's @TheLastExorcist. I post a lot of cool anime stuff, and I think y'all would enjoy. Plus, it's just, you know, fun to check everything out. So if y'all want to do that, more power to you. If not, okay. But before we get into this, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And let's go ahead and jump right into this review.
They say you don't go home, but you can't stay here. And no, I don't wanna be alone in the world out there.
So we start this episode off jumping right back into where we were last week when the Pope is about ready to strike him. He grabs this sword, and he's pretty much like, yeah, y'all are about to die. And he strikes off a blast at Naofumi. Well, kind of both of them, but Naofumi grabs his shield up and blocks it barely. He's like, my arms are going numb from this, you know? And he was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, you could see the expression on his face. It was like, pretty set in stone, he's not going to be able to dodge all of these. And that's when the Pope says, enough trial shots, time for the real thing. So Naofumi didn't even dodge a full-on blast from it. We did see him dodge one later though, but we jump into our intro and title card here. And like I said, this one is titled The Four Cardinal Heroes, which is Naofumi, Itsuki, Rin, and Motoyasu. So I kind of assumed they were going to be coming, but we find out that this sword he's holding morphed into a spear, in that it's a replica of the Cardinal Weapons. So, don't know how they made replicas, but not going to question it. But, you know, she starts explaining all this stuff, and she's like, you know, one swing could take dozens of mages' mana, because that's how, you know, much this thing takes. And he says, no wonder you're first in line for the throne, Melty. And he kind of starts roasting him. You know, he tells Mine, you know, fuck you, bitch. If you would have been studying instead of conspiracing, you might have been first in line. But that's when Motoyasu stands up and he's like, I'm going to take you down and avenge Itsuki and Rin. And he grabs Naofumi and he's like, now's the time for us to work together. And you just see kind of like this blank expression on Naofumi's face, like, what? So he goes to swipe off this next swing here, and that's when Itsuki and Rin show up, and Rin uses this thing called 1,000 Swords, and it like launches a bunch of swords or 100 swords, I can't remember, but it was really cool. This scene's pretty cool in my opinion, just because, you know, we got to see them, but we find out that the assassination attempt failed because the Queen's entourage here, known as the Shadows, I think this is the first time we got their name, saved them. And that's when Rin jumps up there and he clashes with the Pope, and they kind of make no leanway there, so he comes back down, and cool scene, but I really didn't like the fact that Rin got that close to him that quick. I mean, it would have been a better build-up if they kind of would have not done that. But we find out that, yeah, God's on their side, they can't lose, even though the Queen's forces are on their way here now, and they're facing off against the four Cardinal Heroes, so he's playing to these people like they can't lose, you know. And that's when they're all giving this powerful speech. They're like, it's time for us to fight together. And Naofumi's like, I'm not going to play along with you idiots. You're just going to get us killed. And it was really funny because he tells Motoyasu, this is your fault, just like the Pope's. And this is where he gets serious here. He's like, you know, if you wouldn't have listened to mine and made up your own decision on things, then you wouldn't be in this mess. And that's when Ren and Itsuki are like, yeah, but he's sorry about it. And he tells him, he's like, you all are at fault too. And they go back to the whole village thing, and this is where I had the problem. Like the dragon, the villagers, and the seed. Yeah, that's a problem, don't get me wrong. That was a big problem, but he should go back to... His hatred for them should stem from the very first episode when they told him, like, yeah, the shield hero is kind of useless, you know, and they were putting him down from the beginning. And now he's, you know, the one who's going to save the day, but in their eyes, he was just a piece of garbage from the first moment they met him, not counting they all believed the whole rape accusation thing. Like, that should be the least of his worries here, but he's looking at it from more of a hero standpoint, which I do enjoy, I really do, but I don't like how they didn't even bring that up at all. Maybe that'll come out later, but like, the whole scene where they were like, yeah, the shield hero's useless, man. He's the noob. He doesn't know anything about this world, you know? He's the weakest link. So I don't know how I felt about that, but yeah, that's just my take on it. That's my little rant. Even though I still enjoyed this scene, I feel like they could have added a little bit more on his reason to not work with it. But that's when we cut back over to the Pope here, and he pretty much says, you all wasted enough time. I've got my mana back. Farewell, fake heroes, and goodbye, Devil of the Shield. And so he's about to launch another full-blown attack at him, and that's when Naofumi blocks it, and he says, in my eyes, you are just like the Pope. You abuse your power and use it for so-called justice without caring about consequences. You only care about yourself. So I really like that scene, and that's when, you know, he says, I don't forgive you, but I made Futuri a promise, so just this once until we get out of here alive, we can work together. And that's when Itsuki says the four heroes finally stand together now. I thought it was a great scene, but that's not the end of the episode, because they have to leave us off on a huge cliff. And the Pope pretty much uses all of the magic here, and he uses a high-level defensive magic called Cathedral. And if you've seen that thing, it looks badass. If you haven't seen this episode, you need to go watch it to see how cool this thing actually looks, because I couldn't get a picture of it in full-blown scale. But, yeah, it looks amazing. And that's the end of the episode. So, yeah, like I said, this might be my favorite episode just because Naofumi finally gets that little bit of revenge, even because they need him here. None of them are going to stop a blast from that thing. None of them are. And they need him here, and he's got that playable card where he's like, my guys can get out of this alive, it's you all, you know. And even though he knows he's kind of going to need their help, but, you know, he's still got that mentality of like, you know, I'm a solo because you all made me this way. I wanted to be friends with everybody just like you all, but ever since the get-go, people like you have hated me. So yeah, I don't know. That's my take on the episode. I really did enjoy it, but the next week's episode, the title I think was something like Good versus Evil or something like that, so it should be really fun. The Queen's forces are coming. Naofumi's about to get serious. I think he's gonna go rage shield on these mother effers. I'm trying to watch my language. I've probably already cussed 12 times in this video though. But yeah, without further delay, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and head out of here. I've got some more stuff I gotta get done, so yeah, catch y'all next time. Peace out.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair.